Picture the young Alexander the Great at the Battle of Chaeronea, watching his father Philip II command. He learned that power is never taken from us, but relinquished by us. Philip II of Macedon. Chapter 1. The Respect Bleed. Respect, it's not earned, it's seized. You're losing it right now through every weakness you permit. Learn to wield it or become a ghost. Every interaction you have, every word you speak, every silence you keep, it's all a conduit. You are either building an impenetrable fortress of respect, or you are leaking it, drop by agonizing drop, until you are an empty shell others walk through. They tell you respect is earned through niceness, through compromise, through showing your true vulnerable self. This is a lie. Right now, your respect is bleeding, unseen, from tiny wounds you didn't even know you had. Picture Vlad the Impaler in medieval Wallachia, faced with Ottoman envoys who refused to remove their turbans in his presence. 2,000 years ago, Vlad the Impaler understood what most still refuse to see. Small acts of disrespect are not isolated incidents. They are tests, probes, and if left unchecked, they become gaping holes that drain your authority dry. He had those envoys' turbans nailed to their heads. A brutal act, yes, but what he understood is that disrespect, tolerated even in its smallest form, invites larger invasions. The first trap is the micro-concession. This is the subtle agreement to terms that chip away at your boundaries, the small allowances you make for others' convenience at your own expense. It's when you let someone consistently interrupt you, or arrive late, or make jokes at your expense that aren't funny. You rationalize it. It's just a small thing. I don't want to make a fuss. But every time you accept a slight, no matter how minor, you implicitly teach others that your boundaries are permeable. You signal that your time, your words, your presence are negotiable. Think about a colleague who constantly borrows your tools without asking, or a friend who always forgets their wallet when the bill comes. Watch what happens when you let these micro-invasions slide. They don't stop, they escalate. The small slights become larger demands because you've established a pattern of passive acceptance. You are bleeding respect without even realizing it. Vlad the Impaler did not debate the impudence of the envoys. He set an undeniable standard. He understood that some lessons must be taught with absolute clarity, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Here's how you seal this leak. Identify the areas where you are consistently conceding small ground. It's the small favors you do when you're busy, the slight inconveniences you shoulder for others' comfort. Then, without explanation, without emotion, you simply stop. When they ask to borrow your tool, no, I'm using it. When they show up late, you start without them. You don't make a scene, you don't justify, you just act. If you announce, I'm not letting people take advantage of me anymore, people will test you, they will push back, they will resent you for changing the rules of engagement. But if you quietly change your behavior, there's nothing for them to fight against. There's no dramatic confrontation, just a new reality they are forced to adapt to. In his ruthless wisdom, knew that a leader must inspire fear more than love, if only to ensure obedience. What he understood is that people often interpret kindness as weakness, and a firm, unwavering stance, even if unstated, commands far more deference than constant explanation or concession. But there's another leak, equally insidious, one that drains your power through the very air you breathe. It's the moment you feel compelled to justify yourself. What is it? Chapter 2, The Explainer's Price. Justification, a poison. Consider Caesar at the Rubicon. He didn't explain, he acted. For when you explain, you reveal a weakness, a fear, and forfeit true power. But there's another leak, equally insidious, one that drains your power through the very air you breathe. It's the moment you feel compelled to justify yourself. Picture Julius Caesar in ancient Rome, standing at the banks of the Rubicon. His legions behind him, a decision before him, the fate of a republic hanging in the balance. He did not pause to send envoys, did not issue long proclamations explaining his righteous cause or the treachery he faced. He simply crossed. This is the price of explanation. The moment you feel the need to explain your decisions, your actions, or your motives, you sacrifice authority. You move from a position of power to one of defense. Every time you explain, you invite a challenge. You signal that your actions are not self-evident, not absolute. You open a negotiation, providing others with ammunition to question your judgment, to poke holes in your logic, or to simply wear down your resolve. They don't need to defeat your argument. They just need to keep you talking, draining your energy, consuming your time. The more words you expend, the less substance your actions hold. Think about the last time someone explained away a minor mistake, turning a brief oversight into a sprawling monologue of excuses and mitigating circumstances. Watch what happens when you tell someone you can't attend an event, then immediately launch into a detailed, exhaustive list of reasons. They don't hear your no. They hear your insecurity, your desperate need for their understanding. They will prod. They will offer solutions to your problems. They will try to talk you out of your decision because you gave them an opening, a perceived weakness to exploit. Here's how you seal that leak. You stop explaining. Your actions must speak for themselves. Your decisions are your own, requiring no external validation or understanding. If a boundary is set, it is set. If a choice is made, it is made. A brief, definitive statement, then silence. Let them grapple with the outcome, not the rationale behind it. This creates an unraidable presence, a solid wall they cannot penetrate with questions or demands for clarification. If you announce a new plan, then immediately explain every minute detail and potential pitfall. People will scrutinize every word. They will find flaws, real or imagined. But if you quietly execute the plan, letting the results unfold, there's nothing to argue with, only an accomplished fact. Julius Caesar knew this. His crossing of the Rubicon was not just a military move, it was a psychological weapon. There was no argument, no plea, no justification, just an irreversible action that sent a clear, unstated message of intent and power. He forced the issue, and by doing so, he commanded the terms. What Julius Caesar understood is that power does not beg for understanding. It demands acceptance. He did not seek to be loved or even fully understood at that pivotal moment, but to be obeyed. This unyielding stance is what separates those who lead from those who merely react. It's about presenting a fait accompli, a done deal, leaving no room for debate or doubt. Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese military strategist, understood the value of the unexplained. He taught that the wise general creates situations that compel the enemy to react, rather than explaining his own intentions. All warfare is based on deception, he wrote. What he understood is that clarity for your opponent is a gift you should never offer. By keeping your true motives and the full extent of your strategy hidden, you force them into a reactive, uncertain position. They waste energy guessing, not attacking. This is why the less you say about your why, the more people focus on your what. Your actions become larger, more impactful, because they are not diminished by the clumsy justifications of words. Silence preserves your energy. Silence guards your intentions. Silence makes your will seem absolute. Your decisions become like stone tablets, not rough drafts open to public editing. But this silence, this refusal to explain, can be twisted. It can become a different kind of trap, one that creates an echo chamber where only your own voice is heard, and not always for the better. What is it? Chapter 3. The Leaky Vessel. silence a shield, but your words a weapon turned against you. We'll explore the leaky vessel where careless speech drains your power, as Bismarck proved with the MS Dispatch. The true danger emerges not from your silence, but from your words. It is the trap of the leaky vessel, where your potential, your power, your very future seeps away through careless speech. Picture Otto von Bismarck in 19th century Prussia, holding a telegram from his king, the infamous MS Dispatch. This message, if released as written, might have sparked a localized conflict. But Bismarck had a grander design. He understood that loose lips sink not just ships, but entire empires of ambition. Otto von Bismarck didn't lie. He simply edited. He stripped away the niceties, sharpened the tone, making the French response inevitable without ever explicitly stating his aggressive intent. His genius was in crafting the environment, then letting events unfold, always maintaining the advantage of hidden intention. He secured his goals before anyone fully grasped his game. Every plan you voice, every ambition you declare, every vulnerability you expose before it's solid becomes a hole in your vessel. Your power, your resources, your very will begin to drain away. This isn't just about secrecy. It's about preserving your vital internal energy. Others don't just hear your words. They catalog your weaknesses. They measure your commitment. They wait for you to flinch. They see the map to your treasure before you've even started digging, giving them a profound advantage. Your intentions become predictable, and predictability is a fatal flaw in any competitive arena. You experience a false sense of accomplishment the moment you speak your dreams aloud. The immediate applause, the well-meaning encouragement, the validation from others, it all acts like a drug. It tricks your brain into believing the work is already done, stealing your drive to actually execute. Your momentum bleeds out through every word. Watch what happens when you excitedly tell everyone about the massive project you're starting, the strict new regimen you're beginning on Monday, or the business you're launching next year. The initial reception might be warm. People will offer their opinions, their fears, their past failures, all projected onto your nascent vision. Your idea, once pure, becomes contaminated by external noise. Then come the subtle underminers, those who are threatened by your potential success or simply uncomfortable with change. They might not actively sabotage you, but their quiet doubts, their "have you thought about X?" questions, or their "it sounds hard" comments erode your resolve. They chip away at your belief, often without even realizing it themselves. Here's how you build your own ghost project. You work in silence. You gather your resources. You learn what you need to learn. You make your mistakes when no one is watching, when the cost is minimal, when your ego isn't on the line. This phase is your incubation period, protected from the harsh light of public scrutiny. You execute the most difficult, most critical parts of your plan without the white noise of public commentary. You move like a shadow, making progress that only you are privy to. Your actions become your secret weapon, compounding power behind a veil of perceived inaction. Nothing leaks, nothing drains, everything compounds. If you announce your grand ambitions, people will either attempt to dissuade you, subtly undermine you, or simply steal your ideas. They'll see the target on your back and begin aiming. Your potential is exposed, vulnerable. But if you quietly do the work, if you build in the dark, there's nothing for them to attack. There's nothing to steal. There's nothing to doubt until it's already a finished product, an undeniable fact. Your success appears sudden, effortless, almost magical. This is the illusion of the silent master. Cardinal Richelieu, the master strategist who consolidated French power, famously declared that secrecy is the first essential in the management of affairs. What he understood is that power is preserved and amplified by a controlled flow of information. Richelieu knew that revealing too much, too soon, handed your enemies the very tools they needed to dismantle your plans. His entire career was a masterclass in veiled intentions and strategic silence. What Richelieu recognized is that the world reacts to what it sees, not what it hears you intend to do. When your actions speak louder than your words, they speak with an authority that cannot be debated. The finished product, the accomplished goal, the undeniable reality you've built in silence, silences all critics. This approach leaves no room for speculation or sabotage, only the hard truth of your success. It allows you to consolidate your power, your resources, and your resolve without external interference. Your internal engine runs at full efficiency, unburdened by external validation or critique. This is how you reclaim the power that oversharing steals. It is how you transform yourself from a hopeful dreamer into an undeniable force. You become a person who executes, not merely an individual who talks about execution. Your reality changes, not just your rhetoric. The silent operator holds an immense advantage. They observe while others chatter. They build while others boast. They prepare while others seek affirmation. Their moves are unexpected, their victories decisive, because their opponents are always one step behind, reacting to a game they didn't even know was being played. But what if the leaks aren't just from your mouth, but from your very mind? What if the trap is an internal one, a whisper that tells you to chase every distraction, to react to every perceived slight, to bleed your focus dry? This is a different kind of erosion, a slow poison. Is the trap of the constant scatter. What is it? Chapter 4, The Validation Trap. Their chains are invisible, yet unbreakable. This trap destroys you by making your will dependent on the fickle opinions of others, turning you into a marionette dancing to their tune. This is a different kind of erosion, a slow poison. They tell you to seek connection, to build consensus, to understand others. They tell you to care what people think. This is the validation trap, and it's an invisible leash around your neck. Picture Louis XIV in 17th century France, the Sun King, absolute in his power, unconcerned with the whispers of the street. When he enacted the Edict of Fontainebleau, he wasn't asking for approval, he was issuing a decree. He didn't seek validation for his decisions, he simply made them, and the world adapted. This trap destroys you by making your existence conditional. Every choice you make, every path you consider, becomes subject to an unseen jury. You pause, you hesitate, you flinch. You spend energy calibrating your actions, your identity, to fit the shifting expectations of others. You become a shadow of your own potential, always one step behind the person you could be. You drain your power the moment you ask for permission. You bleed your authority when you explain your motives. They don't need to understand why you did what you did. They only need to know you did it. When you lay out your reasoning, you offer them a blueprint for critique, a map to your insecurities, an invitation to impose their will. Think about the boss who constantly explains his decisions, seeking agreement from his team, or the friend who justifies every lifestyle choice to her social circle. They are exposing their core. They are broadcasting their need for external approval. And the moment that need is exposed, you become a puppet, dancing to the tune of whoever holds the strings. The dark strategy is absolute self-containment. Your conviction must be an internal furnace, not a reflection of outside light. Your decisions are your own. Your path is your own. You act from a place of iron certainty, not from a desire for applause or acceptance. You move with a quiet, unyielding force that requires no external verification. If you announce your intentions, if you explain your grand plans, people will scrutinize, they will advise, they will criticize, they will try to mold you into something predictable, something safe. But if you simply do, if you quietly execute your vision without fanfare, there's nothing for them to grab onto. There's no space for their doubts or their subtle manipulations. Louis XIV understood this perfectly. His power was not derived from popularity contests or public debates. It came from an unquestionable authority, from decisions made and enacted without external consultation. He operated from a position where his will was law, not a suggestion to be weighed by others. You cannot question a force that simply is. This self-contained power makes you a rock in a current. Others will flow around you, adapt to you, or break against you. They will not pull you along with them. They will not shape your trajectory. Your strength comes from being unmovable, from having an internal compass that points true regardless of the winds outside. Napoleon Bonaparte knew this. He once said, "Circumstances, I make circumstances." What he understood is that your reality bends to your will, not to the opinions of others. You don't ask for permission to change the world. You simply change it. You become the circumstance to which others must react. The moment you seek validation, you hand your power to others. You allow their opinions, their fears, their limitations to become yours. You cease to be the architect of your own life and become a character in someone else's story. You must cut this leash. You must reclaim your sovereignty. But what if the trap isn't just about seeking approval, but about the very definition of your worth? What if you measure yourself by an unstable scale, constantly comparing your gains to others' losses or your progress to their perceived success? This is another corrosive force, an insidious internal game you can never win. What is it? Chapter 5. The reactor's chain. The reactor's chain, a potent force yet so easily broken. I speak of the invisible bonds others place upon you and how a true prince reclaims his will. It is the reactor's chain, the invisible leash that binds you to the whims of others. They push a button, you jump. They cast a shadow, you flinch. Every time you explain yourself, every time you defend your choices, every time you fire back an insult, you validate their power over you. Picture Marcus Aurelius in ancient Rome, facing a relentless plague that decimated his legions and his people, confronting barbarian hordes on the northern frontiers and dealing with treacherous advisors within his own court. He did not collapse. He did not rage. He did not broadcast his despair. His empire was crumbling, his family dying, yet he maintained an internal fortress, a stillness that baffled his enemies and steadied his allies. This is why the reactor's chain destroys you. It drains your energy. It erodes your authority. It makes you predictable. When they know they can provoke a response, they have a tool to distract you, to control you, to steer your focus away from your true objectives. You become a puppet dancing to their tune. Watch what happens when you react to every online troll, every slight from a coworker, every passive-aggressive comment from a family member. Your precious time vanishes. Your mental space fills with their noise. Your internal peace shatters into 1,000 pieces. Here's how you break this chain. You become the wall, not the ball. The strategy is calculated stillness, an impenetrable calm that absorbs their attacks without reflecting them. It is the refusal to give them the dopamine hit of your anger or your hurt. If you immediately fire back, you confirm their power over your emotional state, proving their capacity to get under your skin. But if you meet their provocation with unblinking silence, with a neutral gaze, with the absence of any visible effect, their attack loses its force. There is nothing for their aggression to feed on. Marcus Aurelius understood that external events are not what disturb you. It is your judgment of them. He famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This was not passive acceptance, but active internal control, a deliberate choice to withhold emotional reaction. His composure during a period of immense turmoil became a strategic weapon, demoralizing his enemies and inspiring his people through sheer, unshakable will. Your non-reaction is a declaration of your independence. It tells them their hooks do not catch, their bait is ignored. They waste their ammunition on a target that refuses to acknowledge their existence. This frustration belongs to them, not to you. Miyamoto Musashi, the masterless samurai, spoke of observing without being observed, of seeing distant things as if they were close, and taking a distant view of close things. What he understood is that emotional distance allows you to analyze a situation, not just react to it. When you are under fire, you must not become the fire. You must remain cold, precise, detached. This stillness, this refusal to engage, is a profound act of self-preservation. It conserves your resources, it protects your focus, it forces your opponents to exhaust themselves against an immovable object, while you silently gather your strength. Marcus Aurelius, despite the chaos surrounding him, chose to focus on his duties, his philosophy, and his inner state. He did not permit the external world to dictate his internal landscape. This allowed him to rule for decades, to endure unimaginable hardship, and to leave a legacy of wisdom. You must cultivate this same internal fortress. When they try to pull you into their drama, when they attempt to trigger your defenses, feel the urge, acknowledge it, and then let it pass. Your energy is not their playground. Your emotions are not their weapon. The moment you react, you are giving them precisely what they want. Your attention, your emotional output, your time. You are surrendering the advantage. You are validating their attempt to control you. They will try to escalate. They will try new tactics. They will become more frustrated, more desperate, because their usual methods are failing. Let them. Their increasing agitation only highlights your supreme control, your unbreakable will. By severing the reactor's chain, you become an enigma, you become unreadable, you become dangerous. No one can predict your next move if they cannot even provoke a reaction to their last. This is the power of the non-reaction. It is not passive. It is an active choice to deny them entry into your mind. It is a strategic withdrawal from their battlefield, leaving them to fight phantom enemies alone. But there is another trap, more subtle, more pervasive, one that whispers in your ear about the unfairness of the world, about the injustices you've suffered, binding you to a past that no longer exists. What is it? Chapter 6, Silent Dominance. Silent dominance. It begins when you surrender your narrative. Understand the subtle art of withholding, for in silence lies true power. It is the insidious expectation that you owe the world an explanation for your existence, for your choices, for your very silence. This is the trap of the open book. They tell you to be transparent, to share your journey, to open up. This is a lie designed to disarm you. They demand access, not out of genuine care, but to find the weaknesses in your spine, to probe for the cracks in your armor. They want to understand you so they can control you, to define you. Your story becomes their weapon. Every detail you volunteer is a potential point of attack. Every motive you reveal becomes a subject for their judgment. Twisted to suit their own agenda, you leak power with every justification. With every attempt to seek their understanding, you diminish your own authority. Picture Leonardo da Vinci in Renaissance Florence, a man who moved through a world steeped in intense scrutiny, petty rivalries, and relentless gossip. Yet, he remained an enigma, a figure of profound and unsettling mystery. His greatest masterpiece, the Mona Lisa, embodies this perfectly. It is not just the painting, but the man, Leonardo da Vinci, and the impenetrable aura he carefully cultivated around himself and his work. Her smile is famously unreadable, not because it reveals nothing, but because it promises something just beyond reach, something tantalizingly close, but eternally withheld. He chose not to clarify its meaning, not to dissect its ambiguous charm. He deliberately allowed its power to grow in the vast, fertile space of unspoken possibility. This was his calculated, silent dominance in action, creating a legend from quiet discretion. Leonardo da Vinci understood that true influence comes not from transparent display, it comes from controlled opacity. When you are an open book, people believe they have read the last page and think they know your entire story. They feel entitled to your narrative. They predict your next moves with ease. They discount your depth, your complexity, your hidden strengths. You become predictable, a known quantity. You become trivial in their eyes, easily dismissed. But when you become a closed text, they spend their energy trying to decipher you. They project their own desires and fears onto your quietude, filling the void with their own interpretations. Your value increases precisely because your secrets become treasures they cannot possess, forcing them to engage on your terms. Here's how you cultivate this silent dominance. First, master the art of the non-reaction. When they provoke you, when they cast bait, hold your tongue. Let their words hang in the air, unanswered, unacknowledged, devoid of your validation. Your silence denies them the gratification of your distress. It denies them the fuel for their manipulative fires. Nothing to react to, nothing to react to, nothing to attack, nothing to exploit. You become an immovable object. Second, reveal only what is absolutely necessary and nothing more. Your ambitions, your struggles, your victories, keep them close, guarded. Let your actions speak for themselves with undeniable force. Do not announce, simply execute. Confucius once taught, the superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. What he understood is that words, no matter how eloquent, dissipate quickly into the air. Deeds, however, leave indelible, lasting impressions. Talkers are rarely doers, and people instinctively know this truth deep in their bones. Your quiet determination, your relentless, unseen effort will always outweigh their loudest proclamations, their empty, performative words. It will always command more respect. If you feel the surge of an impulse to justify yourself, to explain your choices, to defend your past, resist it with every fiber of your being. That impulse is a surrender. It tells them you need their approval, their validation. It tells them you are vulnerable, that your boundaries are weak. But if you quietly execute your plans, if you let your undeniable results be the only argument, there is nothing for them to dissect, nothing for them to debate, nothing for them to use against you. Your silence becomes an impregnable wall they cannot scale. Think about the people who truly command respect in any room, in any interaction. They are rarely the loudest, the most verbose, or the most eager to impress. They are the ones who observe, who listen intently, who choose their words with surgical precision, or choose no words at all. Their very presence itself is a potent statement. They don't chase attention. They allow attention to gravitate naturally to them. This is not about being aloof. It is about being unreadable, impenetrable, a force that moves through the world without needing to explain its trajectory or seek permission. This silent dominance rebuilds your respect brick by quiet brick, action by deliberate action. It is the absolute antithesis of the needy, reactive individual. It is your most potent shield against those who would drain your energy by constantly demanding emotional labor and explanations. It is the subtle weapon that forces others to contend with your reality, rather than inviting them to define it or diminish it. But even with this formidable shield, there is one final, insidious trap. A trap that twists your own hard-won victories against you, transforming them into crippling liabilities. What is it? Chapter 7, The New Code. The Yasa, a brutal simplicity. Now, we confront the ultimate vulnerability, the void where your own code should stand, unyielding. Picture Genghis Khan in the Mongol Empire, not just conquering vast lands, but forging an empire through an unyielding, brutally simple code, the Yasa. This wasn't some suggestion or a gentle guide. It was law, unwavering and absolute. It enforced discipline, demanded loyalty, and eliminated all ambiguity. What he understood, what we have explored through these traps, is that true power isn't just taken, it must be codified, ingrained, made unshakable. The final trap, then, is the absence of your own Yasa, your own Yasa, your own new code. It's the vulnerability that arises when you've identified the leaks, the explanations, the emotional labor, but haven't yet locked down a permanent internal operating system. You've seen the holes, but you haven't truly sealed them with a new internal architecture. This leaves you open to relapse, to old patterns, to the slow erosion of respect you've fought to reclaim. Every time you learn a painful lesson, every time you recoil from a disrespectful interaction, you are presented with a choice. You can simply react to the symptom, or you can embed a new principle, a new law within yourself. Without this new code, your newfound strength is merely a temporary tactic, a bandage over a deeper wound. People will test you, probe for weaknesses, waiting for you to revert. Think about what happens when you decide to set a boundary with a demanding friend or family member. Initially, they might retreat, sensing your shift. But if that boundary isn't backed by an internal, unshakable code of self-worth and non-negotiable standards, they will push again. They will try to find the crack the moment you flinch, the instant you explain yourself or backtrack. Here's how you forge this new code. It is the distillation of every lesson learned, every trap avoided, into immutable personal laws. These are your internal absolutes. I do not explain myself beyond clarity. I do not chase approval. I do not allow my energy to be drained by others' emotional demands. Each principle is a pillar supporting the fortress of your self-respect. If you merely try to be less reactive, you will fail when the pressure mounts. But if you quietly embody the principle, I am unresponsive to manufactured drama, then there is no effort, only being. Your actions become automatic, a reflection of your inherent structure. Your internal yasa dictates your response, leaving no room for negotiation or weakness. Genghis Khan understood that the yasa wasn't just for governing, it was for shaping his people. It created a new identity, a shared ruthless efficiency. Your new code does the same for you. It shapes your behavior, solidifies your identity as someone who demands and receives respect. It is your personal constitution, immune to external manipulation. This isn't about being rigid, it's about being defined. It's about clarity in your values and non-negotiables. What you permit, you teach. What you codify, you enforce, first within yourself, then in your interactions. This creates an impenetrable shield, not of aggression, but of absolute, calm conviction. What Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of as the will to power, the drive to overcome oneself and create one's own values, finds its ultimate expression here. You are not merely reacting to the world's demands, you are imposing your own. You are defining the terms of engagement, not just adapting to them. You become the sculptor of your own respect. Consider the energy you previously expended explaining, justifying, and placating. That energy is now redirected, invested in solidifying your internal laws. Nothing leaks, nothing drains, everything compounds. Your presence alone begins to command deference because your internal code broadcasts an unyielding strength. This new code is silent. It is not announced. It is demonstrated. Others will not know its specific tenets, but they will feel its undeniable presence. They will sense that there are invisible lines they cannot cross, reactions they will not provoke, and concessions you will not make. This is the difference between a temporary truce and absolute sovereignty. Every interaction becomes a test, not of your resilience, but of their ability to operate within your defined parameters. When they push, your new code provides the instant, effortless, and often silent counter. It is the wisdom of a surgeon, precise, unemotional, and effective. The traps we've discussed, the need to explain, the emotional labor, the pursuit of external validation, they all crumble before a well-defined internal code. They are symptoms of a lack of clear internal self-governance. With your yasa in place, these vulnerabilities cease to exist. They are simply not part of your new operating system. Genghis Khan's yasa was designed for an empire that would last. Your new code is designed for a self that will command unshakable respect. It is the ultimate antidote to the constant give and take that diminishes your value. It moves you from a position of constant defense to one of quiet, unwavering power. This means accepting that not everyone will like your new code. Some will chafe against it. But those are precisely the individuals whose respect you do not need and whose presence only serve to erode your boundaries. Your new code filters out those who cannot respect your sovereignty. This is not a choice you make once. It is a commitment you embody every day in every interaction, subtle and overt. It is the rigorous application of self-awareness and uncompromising self-preservation. It is the final, ruthless step towards becoming an individual whose respect is not granted, but simply is. Your new code is the ultimate weapon, forged from your past wounds and future aspirations. It is the chilling, silent command you issue to yourself and through yourself to the world. This is your new code. Internalize it, live it, and watch as the world bends to your will